CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Well, with all of the tributes and remembrances behind us for the moment now, although we will never forget them, it's time for football. Welcome back to NRG Stadium in Houston, everyone, where the Jacksonville Jaguars have won the toss and they will defer. So Trevor Lawrence will have to wait just a little bit longer, Arch, for his NFL debut.
Yes, sir, and what a debut it will be. Jacksonville fans have been waiting for this for a long time. I think the NFL has been waiting for this for a long time, ever since Trevor Lawrence was a freshman at Clemson. Impressive young man, but now he gets a chance, Greg, to see if he can do it in the National Football League.
Everything that came out of the preseason regarding him was positive. All good news. Everybody with the thumbs up. And the only thing left now is to see how well he does it on the playing field when the games count. Number 19 deep is Andre Roberts. 5'11", 195 in his 12th season from the Citadel. Local fans are pumped as the Texans try to rebound from a 4-12 season a year ago, after having won back-to-back AFC South championships the previous 2 years. Number 4, Josh Lambo, set to kick it away for Jacksonville, and we are underway. This one will sail through and out of the end zone for the touchback. And so onto the field comes Tyrod Taylor. Previous stints with the Chargers, the Browns, the Ravens, and the Buffalo Bills, where his head coach now, David Culley, was his quarterback coach back in 2017.
And it was Buffalo where he played his best football, 46 starts, and he was at his best, throwing the ball down the field, being mobile, getting outside the pocket, and frustrating defenses running the football.
Mark Ingram in the backfield along with Tyrod Taylor on first down. And it is Ingram, and Ingram gets about 5, maybe even 6 yards. Damian Wilson in on the stop. Offensive line, much as expected of this O-line for Houston. The Texans averaged less than 92 yards a game rushing a season ago. And one guy who told us he's ready to roll, Arch, Mark Ingram.
What did he say? 11 seasons popped up real quick, right? But he feels like he still has a lot of, quote, high-level football back in the tank.
Taylor throws, sideline pass, and it is incomplete. Shaquille Griffin almost made the pick on the sideline. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Boy, how about this for anticipation and transition? Shaquille Griffin just sees it, reads the quarterback's eyes, and boy, had a chance to start the game off in magnificent fashion. Excellent break on the ball, but that's why they went after him in the offseason. They needed corners that had man-to-man ability, guys that could go take away the football. 3 interceptions last year, could have started off in a big way.
Lindsey and Burkhead in the backfield on 3rd and 4. Taylor throwing sideline, and this one is overthrown. Pass intended for Nico Collins. And so the Texans go 3 and out.
Good start for Jacksonville's defense, and a little shaky there. Had a really nice first down run with Ingram. And as we said, this offense is going to be built around the running game first and foremost. That was not a huge commitment under Bill O'Brien. They want to run the football, but when you get in 2nd, 3rd, and medium, you've got to be able to convert on those passes.
Jamal Agnew is deep for the kick. Agnew from the 21. And is going to be buried back at the 20-yard line. Good special teams coverage by the Houston Texans, led by Tremon Smith, number 24. And here comes Trevor Lawrence, number 1 pick overall in the NFL draft, 34-2 as a starter at Clemson, where he broke all of the records held there by Deshaun Watson.
Well, Trevor Lawrence has always been by far the best player on the field at every level that he's ever played in. I don't know if he's really ever had to deal with adversity. Certainly going to see it here in the National Football League, but he sure looks the part, Greg.
Snap number 1. And he'll throw it. And it tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it falls incomplete. Tipped by Vincent Taylor.
Illegal formation. Offense number 17. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So the illegal formation call is against the Jaguars, specifically DJ Chark. And the ball is backed up now to just outside the 10-yard line. And 2nd and 15 for the Jaguars. So what do you say, Arch? Now you got that little hitch over with?
Yeah, I think so. What you said, how's it going to feel, to get that first hit? I think you'd like to start a little bit better than that, but good play by Vincent.
Play clock winding down. And that's not going to count. They didn't get the snap off in time, I don't believe.
Timeout. Jacksonville.
So Jacksonville.
Their first of the half.
Called time before the play clock
late.
expired.
It's a good timeout by Urban Meyer because he sees what's happening. This is a blitz, and they don't have the protection. He doesn't call a timeout. Trevor Lawrence is going to get hit right in the back. So not a great start for the Jacksonville offense. Got to get that operation a little bit tighter, but a nice job by Desmond King to come off the edge.
Welcome to the NFL.
Wasn't that bad. That was.
Now I asked him when we talked with Trevor Lawrence if he needed one of those hits to get him over the jitters. He says, well, everybody likes to get a little hit, not a whole, not a huge one. 1st and 15. Lawrence had to get rid of that one as the screen dissipated. James Robinson, the nearest to catching the ball. The anchor of this offensive line is center Brandon Linder, who missed the second half of last season with an ankle injury. The backs and the receivers, Arch, you say DJ Chark could be very key for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he has to have a big season. This is his contract year. Didn't have a great year, and he was challenged. One of the players that Urban Meyer challenged in the offseason, didn't really like his tape. He answered the call in the offseason. He got bigger, he got stronger. See if it translates to the field.
Blue 80! Blue 80! 2nd and 15. The pass to the near side, and that is incomplete. DJ Chark couldn't hold on to the low throw. And it'll be 3rd and 15. That Houston defense up front. Whitney Merciless had limited practice time this week with a thigh injury, but he's out there, Art.
They need Merciless. Look, there's no J.J. Watt, 101 career sacks, 280-some quarterback hits. It's a different era here in Jacksonville. New scheme. They need Whitney Merciless, who's lined up on the left side of the Jacksonville offensive line. He's got to be able to come up in a big way here on 3rd down.
3rd and 15. That pass over the middle, and that is complete. There's Lawrence's first completion in the NFL, and Laviska Shenault to the far side of the field. He is out of bounds at about the 28-yard line. That's not enough for a first down. And the punting unit comes on.
The Texans showing blitz. They're going to drop out their linebackers in zone coverage. Shenault, we've heard a lot about Shenault in his offseason. Urban Meyer says he's the most talented offensive player by far right now on the roster, but 15 yards, too much to go, and a good job by Lovie Smith's defense of getting off the field.
Andre Roberts deep for the punt. High and to the near side of the field, and that will bounce out of bounds very close to the 15-yard line, and that is where Houston will get started when we come back. 13:41 to play in a scoreless first quarter. Welcome back, everyone. There's David Culley in his first year as head coach in the National Football League. Coached the wide receivers in Baltimore the last 2 years. He's been an assistant in the NFL for 27 years. He was a college coach for 16 years. That man is a coach through and through.
Yeah, they say he is, players say he's like the old man at the barber shop, just spitting wisdom, right? He's been around so long. I kind of got the feeling when we spoke with him in our interviews, the same thing.
Ingram to the right side and pulling tacklers along with him. Josh Allen finally making the stop. David Culley recruited to play at Vanderbilt by Bill Parcells, who was the defensive coordinator there. 4-year letter winner in the mid-70s. The first black quarterback ever to play for the Vanderbilt Commodores. Gain of 6 on the play, 2nd and 4, and Ingram again plowing his way across the 25 to about the 27-yard line and a first down. One other thing about David Culley, I asked him who his emergency quarterback was going to be today, and he said Davis Mills. And I said, and if it's not Davis Mills, he said me.
Wouldn't that be a sight?
So the first down for the Texans now at their own 27-yard line. Play fake, Taylor on the move, looking, throwing, down the field. It is incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Pharaoh Brown.
Greg, one thing you're going to see in this offense is you're going to see a lot of movement passes. And when I used to study Tyrod Taylor when he was at Buffalo, at times I thought he didn't anticipate well, that he held on to the ball. Part of that, I think, is his size. And he was a quarterback that had to wait to see it before he threw it. Expect a lot more designed rollouts and quarterback bootlegs to get him outside for some vision.
Taylor going to keep it this time and slide down at about the 35-yard line. That'll be a couple of yards short of a first down. C.J. Henderson will get credit for the stop.
Not only does it fit what they do in the run game, but think about what Kevin Stefanski did last year with Baker Mayfield. All those short rollouts, those quarter rollouts, half rollouts. I imagine you're going to see a lot more of that from Taylor.
On third down, that pass is complete, and it is a first down. Pharaoh Brown on the receiving end. That rollout stuff is nice, Arch, as long as you have a quarterback who can pull it off.
Absolutely. And to recognize what is going on with the defense and see that you might have a mismatch. Look at what this tight end bunch does. It causes a little bit of confusion. Taylor sees the confusion, gets it out to his wide open receiver, and they pick up another first down.
Play fake. Taylor running out of time. Being chased and caught from behind. That is Josh Allen. Our conversation with Josh Allen, he was determined to come out here and lead the charge for this Jacksonville defense.
Yeah, I think he's fired up. You know, he came out on fire, made the Pro Bowl as a rookie, injured his knee last year, only 2.5 sacks. He put on some weight. He's back to his college weight, about 265, 270 pounds, and he's standing up this year. Really suits his game. Get a pretty good idea from talking to him that he is ready to go, and he loves the new defensive scheme.
On the pass over the middle, and that is complete close to midfield to Danny Amendola, the veteran who just recently signed on with the Houston Texans in his 13th season.
Nothing like being on the street for 6 or 7 months, getting your number called, signed up, and catching your first pass on Sunday. They need some help at slot receiver. Anthony Miller, he's out with the shoulder. Amendola, he's been there, he's done it. Experienced receiver, he'll get a lot of balls.
3rd and 5 now. Taylor, sideline again, complete again. And that's Amendola again for a first down. You hear players talk about there are times that they work out at home and stay ready. And for Amendola, that's exactly what he says, paying off.
Absolutely. And you see, that was another close bunch formation in man-to-man coverage. That's the second time in this drive where the Jaguars have been beaten to the outside in man coverage coming out of a bunch.
Ingram in the backfield. This is Ingram looking for running room and nowhere to go. He is dragged down just inside the 45-yard line. Rayshawn Jenkins leading the way.
Greg, I'm excited to see Mark Ingram. He's always been one of my favorite backs. Love his style. Physical, downhill, has a nose for the end zone. 2 years ago, what did he have, 15, 16 touchdowns? Had a career low last year for Baltimore, but I think we're going to see the Mark Ingram of old in this offense. I think he's ready to go and excited again to see him play.
Hard to believe he's in his 11th season in the NFL out of Alabama. The give is to David Johnson, and David Johnson about a yard to the 42. So 3rd and 9 now for the Houston Texans, and once again, Tyrod Taylor got to find a way.
And this is the part of the game where he's got to get better from where he was in Buffalo. This is an obvious passing situation. The ball's got to come out with timing and with rhythm. He can't hesitate. He's got to be able to anticipate the throw and hit it on time.
Under pressure, going deep, inside the 10. Double coverage, and he'd come down with that football. He did. Brandon Cooks. No one wants to let go, but the officials have made their decision. That's a catch by Cooks.
Did he catch it? Sure looks like it. What a catch. Boy, you see Jenkins.
Had it and lost it, it looked like.
What a catch.
David Johnson from the 2-yard line in the backfield. The handoff, lost it on the ground. Jacksonville has it at the 5. Josh Allen with the recovery. And now they're going to take that back.
Boy, it looked like the ball was snapped just as Lindsey, almost if the ball wasn't snapped in time, but almost at the exact moment that he passed Tyrod Taylor under center. Look, he gets there almost right away, and Taylor has to try and manage the snap and get it to a Lindsey who's almost at full speed. That exchange just didn't work.
They're going to say that is an incomplete forward pass.
Right, the toss, because he tossed it, that's a pass.
So on 2nd and goal, this is Ingram. At about the 2, as we come up on 7 minutes to play in what is right now a scoreless first quarter.
Well, you got to like this drive. First series wasn't very good. Taylor almost throws a pick. They couldn't convert in 3rd and short. But on 3rd down on this drive, he's been on target, and that big one to Brandon Cooks.
Ingram, left side, touchdown. Four times Houston converted on 3rd down on this drive. And this one gets the touchdown.
Yep, Rayshawn Jenkins, safety against Ingram. And you'd like to think that a guy that runs with the power like Ingram, he's going to win that battle. Jenkins doesn't really have a chance. He just puts a shoulder on him. And we talked about it. Mark Ingram knows how to hunt for the end zone. What a drive. What a rebound from that first series for Houston to get on the board.
The regular Houston kicker, Kaimi Fairbairn, is injured. This is Joey Sly for the extra point. straight and true. And with 6:39 to play in the first quarter, the Houston Texans jump onto the scoreboard first. Ingram with the touchdown, 7-0.
And by Rocket Mortgage. For the playbook on home loans, Rocket Cab.
Just a reminder, Arch, some of us are really good at playing the game and the rest of us are really good at tailgating before the game.
Yep. Which one what category do you fall into?
Really good tailgating before the game.
You a big I feel like you're a gamer. No?
No.
Come on, man.
Listen, you know my mantra, you can always get hurt out there. Jamal
There you
Agnew,
go.
not going to return this one. Hey, want to remind you, Paramount Plus is the home of the world's game. Stream more than 2,000 soccer matches live, including Serie A, UEFA Champions League, and then NWSL and CONCACAF. Darn, I'm going to get this. CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers. Paramount Plus, try it free. You get the next one, Arch. Don't laugh.
No thanks.
So first down, Jacksonville down, a touchdown. James Robinson in the backfield along with Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence on the move, throwing, has a man open, and he's got him across midfield and inside the 45. That is Marvin Jones with the catch and a first down.
Boy, really a nice throw in recognizing the defense here from Lawrence. This is zone coverage. You got a corner playing short with a safety over the top. And watch how Lawrence just threads it right in between while he's on the move. Really nice first down play. That's good action right there, and exactly what Urban Meyer needed on this second series.
33-yard gain on the play. This is Robinson. And Robinson finds a hole on the left side. And we get a penalty flag flying in from the secondary as he is brought down at about the 30-yard line.
Holding. Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
That's the center, Brandon Linder. And that nullifies a pretty good pickup.
Yep, Linder's going to come out, and he's just going to get his hands as he gets to that next level. I think it was on, yep, that's the inside linebacker, Kirksey. You can see the grab right there as Kirksey tries to fall off of that block, but really nice piece of running by Robinson. You know, when you watch Robinson last year, he was an excellent inside runner between the tackles. And he just had a way of finding that small little crack in getting into that linebacker area. The next step for him is trying to bust the big play.
First and 20 now. Play fake that time, and the pass over the middle is complete. Inside the 40-yard line, and that is Marvin Jones. Update time. Let's get you back to New York the first time this season. JB and Boomer.
Hey, Greg, a familiar pair.
That's right, JB. Russell Wilson, 23-yard touchdown pass to Tyler Lockett right down the middle of the field. Good adjustment by Lockett. They take a 7-3 lead over the Colts.
Greg Gumbel, Adam Archuleta, and the talented A.J. Ross.
All right, guys, thank you very much. 2nd and 5. And on the quick slant, it's off the hands and incomplete. James O'Shaughnessy, the tight end, couldn't pull it in. It'll be 3rd down. You know, we'll be talking about him all day today, Arch, but James Robinson, what a story he was last year. Undrafted, 1,400+ yards from scrimmage, including 1,000 rushing yards.
It was the most reliable and the best, most consistent weapon for Jacksonville. Now, Houston has been sending their linebackers and putting them in the line of scrimmage a lot on that first series. This time looks like they're going to play back and play some coverage.
On 3rd and 5, quick pass. Off the hands of his intended receiver, DJ Chark. And that'll force, let's see, the field goal.
Yeah, ball was behind him, but look, I mean, that's a no-brainer. Everybody knows, Chark knows, got to catch that, and shoot, that was almost an interception. Justin Reed comes over from the free safety spot and almost gets a huge turnover.
So this is a 55-yard attempt. Josh Lambo has made 7 straight field goals from 50 or more yards. From 55, long enough, but too wide. So no points on the board and pretty good field position for the Houston Texans and their new head coach, David Culley.
I decided to take over all sports.
4:39 to play here in the first quarter as Trevor Lawrence thinks about it. Can't help, I'm sure, thinking about the 3 dropped passes that he's had so far early on here in the game. Meanwhile, Tyrod Taylor back to work and throwing over the middle. He's got his man. Inside the 40-yard line is Chris Conley, and that's a first down.
Here it is. For the second time today, the rookie, Campbell, got beat on the one to Brandon Cooks, and then in zone coverage, you got to have more awareness. Once you read that it's not a run, you've got to get your depth, and you got to get back there in the throwing lane. Nice read by Tyrod Taylor to spot the open zone and get the ball out to his receiver.
17-yard pickup. Taylor to throw again. Under pressure, trying to get loose, flips it out, and completes it to about the 25-yard line, and Pharaoh Brown has more yardage inside the 15.
Boy, this is just excellent from Taylor. Excellent play, feeling the rush, okay? But he doesn't panic, right? He goes out, he steps up, keeps his eyes up, and then look, finds Brown coming open across the middle. Doesn't get much better than that. We talked about, look, the first series, rough series, but shoot, you look at how he played in that second series and how he just managed that play, really nice.
This is Ingram. Ingram inside the 10 to about the 7. And these Texans running and throwing the ball with a sense of purpose here as the final minutes of the first quarter wind down.
Greg, you cannot be a good running football team unless you have excellent tight end blocking. The tight ends are so huge and so instrumental. That's a big emphasis here on the Texan football team to get those tight ends involved, not only in the run game, but in the passing game. But that's the kind of effort it's going to take.
On 2nd and 4, Taylor looks right, throws left, and misses his man, David Johnson, close to the goal line. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Well, that's the matchup you want right there. You get David Johnson, made a name for being one of the best receiving backs in football, matched up with the middle linebacker. You know, typically you'd probably like to see Myles Jack out there, who's really the space athlete here for Jacksonville, runs a little inside-out route, but the ball just isn't there.
So David Johnson alongside Taylor in the backfield on 3rd and 4. This side, end zone, touchdown Johnson. Covered on the play by Myles Jack.
Here it is, same thing. This little, look at the traffic in the pick that creates. Really nice job by Jordan Akins, the tight end. He gets upfield. And now Myles Jack, he can't get over the top to cover David Johnson in the flat.
Joey Sly for the extra point. And the kick is perfect. 2:25 to play here in the first quarter, and the Houston Texans have built themselves a 2-touchdown lead. Back to NRG Stadium in Houston after this.
T-Mobile, the leader in 5G.
Who, you ask, was the last #1 overall pick to win his first career start? David Carr in 2002 against the Dallas Cowboys also happened to be the Texans' first game in franchise history since the merger. #1 overall picks, quarterback 4-20-1 in their first NFL starts. David Carr, remember Mike Vick, John Elway, Jim Plunkett. Noteworthy names who came right out of college and started to get it done. You know, Adam, this Houston defense just doesn't look right without J.J. Watt on the field. You know that?
You're right. Very strange. No Watt, no Watson. It's a new era, but you got to love being up 14-0.
I'm sure they do. They pass out to the flat. That is complete. And across the 30 to about the 32-yard line is Laviska Shenault. I want to remind you, Inside the NFL is now streaming. The hardest hitting team of analysts in football provide expert insight and exclusive commentary you won't find anywhere else. Stream new episodes Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time exclusively on Paramount+. So 8-yard pickup, 2nd and 2. This quick pass is complete and to about the 35-yard line, and that looks like that'll be enough for a first down. Shenault once again on the receiving end.
Greg, Jaguars, you got to like how Trevor responded in his second series, but to me it comes down to mistakes. You had a couple of key penalties, brought back a big run. Yeah, the ball was behind the receivers, but you have a couple drops and a chance to convert on 3rd down. Jacksonville has to clean up their offense here to have a chance.
This is Carlos Hyde changing direction a couple of times, and penalty markers fly as he makes it just across the 45-yard line. Land Clark is our referee today.
Holding. Offense, number 40. A 10-yard penalty. You play first down.
So that negates the first down.
Just talked about it. Second time they've had a big run and it gets called back because of a penalty. It's been at least 1 or 2 mistakes on every one of their first 3 drives here to start the game for Jacksonville.
And a timeout is called.
Timeout. Jacksonville.
By the Jaguars. We'll take a quick break. We're back in 30 seconds right after this.
Jake from State Farm. You here to jam?
Aaron?
No, just an aspiring singer-songwriter with my bandmates. Here giving out that Rogers rate to regular folks like us.
State Farm has rates that fit anyone's budget.
Is that so? Mahalo, Kiki. In that case, this one goes out to an ex-best friend of mine who took my rate, just gave it away.
For surprisingly great rates that fit any budget, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or click to get a quote today.
Just 49 seconds remain here in the first half, and Jacksonville has used its second timeout. Urban Meyer had a decent coaching career in college, didn't he?
Not bad. Certainly knew how to recruit. Some great players. But this is a whole different animal. But I'm excited to see how he does.
On 1st and 16, the pass out into the flat. That is Shenault once again, and this time a swarming Houston defense brings him to a stop short of the 30-yard line.
Boy, how about that defense? You said the exact word, swarming defense. You know, I know that they're just trying to get the ball out, trying to create some run after the catch opportunities with Shenault, the quick screen. But at some point, you know, you've had some pretty good success when you've thrown the ball down the field, both on play action and against zone coverage. They're going to have to be a little bit more aggressive here against the Texan defense, but way to swarm to the football by Lovie Smith's defense.
2nd and 17. As time winds down here in the quarter, that pass is incomplete. Intended for Marvin Jones. And with that, we come to the end of the first quarter. The home folks are happy. Houston 14, Jacksonville nothing. Back to NRG Stadium right after this. Back in Houston, this is NRG Stadium, and the Houston fans pretty energetic about a 14-0 lead.
Absolutely, and 3rd and 17. You got to expect zone coverage across the board. All 7 back defenders, eyes on the quarterback. Lawrence has to be careful on this snap.
Lawrence steps up, throws, found a man, midfield, and inside the 45-yard line is DJ Chark for the first down. That's a big conversion on 3rd and 17.
Boy, what a play. This position on the backside of 3 receivers, you've got to play this in cut if you're Zach Cunningham. You know that that's where you're getting attacked. Now, a really nice job of Lawrence looking down the middle and not looking that direction on his eyes initially, but that's all about the will linebacker there. Cunningham has to be in that throwing lane.
Carlos Hyde, running room on the right side, cuts it back to the middle. And down to the 31-yard line. Tackle is made by Vincent Taylor.
Well, I was just going to say they need to run the ball, but Chris Manhertz, the tight end, just gets a tremendous block. Before that,
this is Hyde again. Before that, they had run it a couple of times, only to have had him called back to the holding penalties.
They only had 1 official run attempt. That was a 4-yard run by Hyde. Robinson, broke 1. That was called back. Hyde had another big run. That was called back. And the mistakes had put him down. So I know Urban Meyer doesn't want to drop back and throw the football every single time. The only way they can try to get some balance is to minimize those mistakes, to use the cliche, stay on schedule, and use the running game to grind out this defense.
On 2nd and 9, play fake, throwing over the middle and through the hands of DJ Chark. Update time once again. Let's get you back to the NFL today in New York. JD and Boomer.
Seattle likes coming east, Greg.
What about my voice? That's right, 11-1 in their last 12 in that case. Russell Wilson, 2nd TD of the day, this time to Gerald Everett, the former Ram. Tight end, they extend their lead 14-3 over Indianapolis.
Back to Greg Gumbel.
All right, guys, thank you. Here, Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence looking at a 3rd and 9.
Okay, 3rd 9. Last time it was zone coverage. Looks like here it's going to be zone coverage again.
Lawrence on the move, looking, and throws. And there's a flag down as that falls incomplete. Officials consulting with the Houston sideline.
Holding. Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Jawan Taylor, the right tackle.
Boy, I thought, looking at it live, initially I thought it was pretty good technique by Taylor. I don't see the hold there. But one more time, it's 3rd and 19. Odds are you're not going to be able to do 2 3rd and 19s in one drive. But again, expect zone coverage. Linebackers have to get deep and get in the throwing lane.
They need the 21-yard line for a 1st down. Lawrence, time, throwing over the middle and couldn't connect with O'Shaughnessy, his tight end. And we have a flag down on the near side of the field.
There are fouls by both teams. Illegal formation. Offense, number 74. That penalty is disregarded by rule. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 97. A 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
So that penalty is on Malik Collins.
Yeah, he comes in late, and you just can't club the quarterback in the face. Doesn't look like much, but you're going to get called for that every time. That is a big one. And I know if, Lovie Smith right now, after playing a pretty good couple series, he's got to be furious with his defense. Twice on 3rd and almost 20, he's given the Jacksonville offense a first down.
Go green 80. Green 80. This is James Robinson. Robinson to about the 22-yard line. Robinson's 1,070 rushing yards, 5th best in the NFL last year.
It's pretty amazing, especially when you consider the fact that Jacksonville went through 3 different quarterbacks last year. They didn't really have a passing offense or a consistent offense. James Robinson was only the consistent weapon there. Teams certainly were able to key on him, but every time he touched the ball, he was able to grind out positive yards.
That was his first rush today. The other one negated by penalty. 2nd and 7. Lawrence got his man, touchdown. Chris Manhertz, the tight end. And the Trevor Lawrence family approves.
Boy, really nice again. Trevor Lawrence has really done a nice job against the deep zone and zone coverage. And this is cover 3. You got a safety in the middle and a corner deep. They've got to collapse on this, but this player has to get in that throwing lane as well. You got underneath defenders. They're staying low. The ball doesn't have a chance to get over the top, and Lawrence threads the needle.
The extra point is good. The very first NFL touchdown pass for Trevor Lawrence is in the books. And with 12:20 to play in the first half, Houston's lead is cut in half. It's now 14-7.
At ESPN, stream games on mobile with the Yahoo Sports and NFL apps.
Trevor Lawrence's wife, Marissa, on your left there. She and the rest of the Lawrence family highly approving of his first touchdown pass of his career.
Yeah, I'm sure she's used to approving of his game, right? Nothing new for her and that family, but
there's a lot to approve of this game. Andre Roberts. Across the 20 and out to the 25, and let's take a look once again at that touchdown pass.
Just another good job of seeing zone, and one thing you'll notice is that the ball is coming out extremely fast. Lawrence is not holding the football, and when Jacksonville doesn't make mistakes, they've actually been able to attack the Houston secondary and find some open parts of that zone.
Tyrod Taylor back to work on offense now. Philip Lindsay behind him in the backfield. This is Lindsay. Not a whole lot there as he is wrestled down just across the 25 to about the 27-yard line by Roy Robertson Harris.
Greg, I think you have to be extremely thrilled with the way this first half has gone for Houston offense. I think Taylor looks extremely comfortable. They're 5 of 6 on 3rd downs. Jacksonville hasn't been able to put any pressure on him. So I would anticipate a bit more pressure, but the way they've run the football and Taylor, the way he's executed the offense, you got to be extremely pleased here with 14 points here in the second quarter.
On 2nd and 7 will play fake. Taylor with time and now throws far side of the field and hit his man. That's Brandon Cooks with the catch. Just across midfield and into Jacksonville territory.
Gotta love how Brandon Cooks gets back outside on C.J. Henderson. Look at that. gives him a little stick. Henderson is underneath, and then the timing of that throw. Taylor knows that he has him to the outside, and that is placed perfectly as Cooks hits the sideline.
2 is the mic. 2 push. Alpha, we go.
Handoff is for Lindsey, and Lindsey finds running room on the right side. Brought down short of the 40-yard line by Damian Wilson.
Well, here's another back, Greg. We talked about Mark Ingram and Philip Lindsey last year coming off a career low, 118 carries, 502 yards. First time that he's been under 1,000 yards. But there's no doubt about it. He is a big play threat, and he hits the hole as fast as anyone.
Taylor spins out of trouble and throws it away. Caleb on chasing, applying some pressure, and it's now 3rd and 2. Tyrod Taylor began this day missing his first 3 pass attempts. He's now 8 of 14.
And has a really good feel for the rush and being able to escape. When do I try and throw it downfield? When do I get it out of there and go to the next play?
Out here, all alone, making the catch. Brandon Cooks, first down.
It's the same thing. Look at this close formation. And Jacksonville doesn't seem to be able to fight through that traffic. And the defender that's responsible for the guy to the flat or to the outside cannot get over the top enough. And Taylor has hit that 3 or 4 times in this game.
Lindsey on first down. Nothing doing up the middle. And the stop is made once again by Roy Robertson Harris. It'll be 2nd down.
So Houston right now is doing a nice job executing their offense. And if you're Jacksonville, the key for you, it's been mistakes also and bad technique on your part. They've got to try and find a way to create some negative plays. Okay, get a tackle in the backfield, stuff the run, break up a pass. But right now, they're getting beaten man coverage.
And a little premature movement. Titus Howard, the left guard, is number 71.
False start. Offense, number 71. A 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
You know you've made a mistake when you pull and you're the only one in motion.
That's usually a dead giveaway. Yep, I would say.
So now it's 2nd and 13.
Yeah, one of the few mistakes. Houston has played a pretty clean game offensively. And again, the success of this football team is going to be really how the offensive line plays, the running game, and Taylor doing what he does best.
That pass over the middle, and that is complete inside the 25 to about the 22-yard line. Chris Conley with the catch, the 7th-year wide receiver from Georgia.
And I love how Taylor just hung in the pocket. He had great patience right there. I thought he was going to flip it out to his outlet receiver, but the way he used his eyes and just at the last moment flicked it to Conley, really well done.
So 6 consecutive 3rd down conversions for Houston. They're looking at one here, 3rd and 3.
And they're in bunch formation one more time. Okay, Jacksonville's had a hard time with this. This is man-to-man coverage, and now they put Lindsey.
That pass to the outside, that's incomplete. Rex Burkhead, the intended receiver. And that'll bring onto the field Joey Sly in the field goal unit.
That's the play that Jacksonville needed. Miles Jack, they tried to attack him, put Burkhead. You know how good of a receiver he is in the backfield, out of the backfield. But somebody had to step up and make a play for Jacksonville to stop the offensive momentum and force Houston to take a field goal attempt.
Joey Sly on the active roster because of the injury to Kaimi Fairbairn. Sly right down the middle. 8:07 to play in the first half. Houston with a 10-point lead. Well, Trevor Lawrence went to Cartersville High School in Georgia. Friday night, they upset the #2 ranked team in the state, beating Creekside 17-14. Cartersville scored the game-winning TD with just 2 minutes left in the fourth to go to 3-0 on the season. And they have some really nice uniforms at the high school level in Georgia.
Yeah, hey, we didn't have high school uniforms like that when I was growing up.
Completely through the end zone. Let's talk about Trevor Lawrence and the kind of day he's having.
Well, when they don't make mistakes, he's been sharp. He got a drop, not very good. Throws a little bit behind, another drop, but then they come in big on 3rd and 19. He hits DJ Chark, and then how about getting the blocking tight end involved? Chris Manhertz with a 22-yard strike. Lawrence is getting the ball out of his hands extremely quickly. And again, when they don't make mistakes and the Texans play zone coverage, he's done a really nice job of finding those zones in that intermediate part of the field.
Pretty confident young man when we talked to him last night.
Yeah, you think winning 68 games or 70 games and, you know, being the guy your whole life.
Against some really good competition at that level.
A national championship, you know, first pick. Probably doesn't have a lot of confidence.
On 1st down and around. This is Laviska Shenault. Shenault with a blocker out front and out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. Let's go down to AJ.
Well, Greg, Laviska Shenault has been a big target for Trevor Lawrence today, and he spoke very highly about him being a big, strong, versatile playmaker, rather, and how fast he can play both inside the slot and outside. But something that Trevor took the initiative of during the offseason was getting together with all the wideouts and spending time with them. And he's hoping that chemistry will translate onto the field and be more reflective this afternoon.
Thanks, AJ. This is James Robinson, and Robinson to about the 40-yard line. Yeah, a smart quarterback makes friends with his offensive line and his wide receivers.
I think so. I think it certainly helps. But if I were the Texans, you know, it's going to be hard to blitz because Lawrence is getting the ball out of his hands. So somehow you've got to do a better job of disguising and getting him to hold it a count. But you might also want to start to play a bit more man-to-man coverage and get a little tighter with your receivers.
Another one on the ground. This is Robinson trying to break it to the outside and gets a couple to about the 47-yard line. Terrence Mitchell making the stop. 4 rushes in Jacksonville's first 3 drives. This is the 3rd time on this series alone that they've run the ball.
Yeah, the key is that they've been able to stay on schedule and don't make any mistakes. That's really kind of been the difference for Jacksonville's offense.
Go.
On 2nd and 3, this is Robinson, and Robinson gets the first down as he's bumped out of bounds on the far side of the field at about the 47-yard line by Eric Murray.
Well, Robinson made a name for himself as a tough inside runner, and here for the 2nd time you've seen him hit the edge. He just outruns Christian Kirksey. Kirksey's a really good athlete, but he gives him just a little bit of a freeze and gets one more step, and now he can finish with physicality outside on the corner. Or excuse me, the safety on Eric Murray.
New set of downs for Jacksonville. Lawrence running out of time, throws it deep near side of the field, and it is incomplete, out of bounds. Pass intended for Shenault and covered by Vernon Hargreaves. And we have a Texan still down on the ground. That is Hargreaves.
Illegal formation. Offense number 74. That penalty is declined. Holding. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
So the penalty is on Jawan Taylor.
So it's the 2nd time. Earlier it was negated because it was rushing the passer. It was Cam Robinson on the other side. But what they're doing is they're getting the tackles. They're aligned too much in the backfield. And so they've got to tighten up their alignment, but that's what they've called. One time on Robinson and that time on Taylor.
And that is Hargreaves limping
And they,
off the field.
They do not have a lot of depth at corner.
Desmond King has replaced him at corner while they look at Hargraves on the sideline.
And you notice that last play, Lawrence had just a small little hitch. Greg, he held it just a count, and he tried to squeeze it in deep in between that zone. And he was real fortunate that Hargraves didn't come down with the interception. So somehow the Texans have to do a better job of getting him to hold the ball. That means the linebackers and underneath defenders get a little bit deeper so he can't make that quick decision and get the ball out of his hands if you're going to play zone.
1st and 20. This time it's a quick release, and out to about midfield, close to it, is Marvin Jones, the 10-year vet from California. 5:20 to play in the first half.
Much different feel from this defense than Houston fans were used to under Romeo Crennel and the way they used to run things. You're going to see a lot of zone coverage. Now, Lovie Smith is known for defenses that take the ball away, and that's because they train them so well at reading the quarterback. You have 6 or 7, sometimes 8 defenders reading the quarterback's eyes and getting a break on the ball. It makes it tough to find those windows.
Lawrence on 2nd and 13. Breaks a tackle, throwing on the run, and overthrew it and intercepted. Picked off by Justin Reed, and Reed brings it back inside the 50-yard line. The Houston defense had only 3 interceptions all season long last year, only 9 takeaways, which is the worst in the NFL.
Yeah, and
Lawrence with his first interception.
Today, let's paint with new Bear Dynasty. The Equalizer returns Sunday, October 10th on CBS.
Welcome back, everyone. Coming up, the Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher. All the latest NFL scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. On first down, Ingram. And Ingram bowls his way just inside the 45-yard line. Clock continues to move. Coming up on 4.5 to play here in the first half. That man, David Culley's got some positives to look at halftime.
Boy, I would say, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
They got their first turnover of the season. Offense here has a great chance here going in before halftime with excellent field position.
Easy. Alert, 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 alert. School. Yeah, 44. Where we go?
On 2nd and 6, Ingram again. Mark Ingram loves being that workhorse, doesn't he?
You know, he is. When he got to Baltimore, I always loved him when he was in New Orleans, but when they matched that style with Greg Roman's offense in Baltimore, I just loved watching him play. It was tailor-made for his style.
On 3rd and 2, Taylor going to throw for it. Under pressure, breaks free, looking, lofts it, and it is incomplete on the sideline. And that was Ingram. Devon Hamilton applying the pressure to Taylor. And the offense staying out there on 4th and 2.
Yeah, well, another good job by Jacksonville's defense on 3rd down, making a play. Hamilton basically was let go scot-free right up the middle. And Taylor does a good job of avoiding the sack, but really nowhere to go.
And now the punter, Cameron Johnston, is going to come out.
Yeah, give Jacksonville's defense credit. 2 drives in the row, stopping it, forcing 1 a field goal, and here a punt with bad field position.
Jamal Agnew standing inside his own 10-yard line for the Jaguars. Movement on the defense.
I think that's Lorente McCray. Boy, is that a bad look. You know, the question was he drawn offsides? Yeah, he's going with the center, but that's
false start.
Oh,
Offense, number 46, a 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Wow.
Yeah, they're going to say the quick head raise from the long snapper was what drew him offside. That's pretty close.
John Weeks is the long snapper. So it backs them up now to a 4th and 7. Texans fans thought they had themselves a free 1st down.
Yeah, they might have a point. I wonder how Gene would have called that.
Gene's territory?
Yes, sir.
Fair catch is made close to the 5-yard line. 3:21 to play. Gene Steratore on line 2, Arch.
With clean, fresh ingredients, Panera's new chicken sausage and pepper.
There's the long snapper, John Weeks, in this latest edition of Ask Gene Steratore. You said, what would Gene think? We have Gene with us. Talk to us, Gene.
I appreciate it, Greg. Yeah, when Weeks lifts his head, he has to do that very slowly if he's adjusting as a center. And if we look back on the play, when he rises his head prior to the snap, it's very abrupt, and that's a false start and a good call by the officials.
Hold on, Gene. Here's a quick pass to the near side of the field, and that is Tyron Johnson. It sounds like, Gene, this is something that's really open to wide interpretation by the officials.
Yeah, and you know, as a referee, I would always talk to at least the long snappers for sure, Greg, because they do move to look around at defensive postures and things like that on punts. But in that case, when you rise that quickly and that high, you've got to kill that play. It's like an exaggerated head bob by a quarterback, and you have to shut that down or they'll gain an unfair advantage moving forward.
Appreciate it, Gene. Thank you.
In the huddle. Offense, 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
So we had a little huddle muddle, and it cost the Jacksonville Jaguars a penalty.
Can't have 12 in the huddle, Greg.
Anymore.
Nope. There's going to be some bumps. There's going to be some hiccups. There's no doubt about it. But you can see it's tough. It's tough to overcome those mistakes.
Lawrence on 2nd and 9 at his goal line and throwing it, intercepted again at the 25-yard line. That's Hargreaves. Hargreaves to the 10. Dodges outside and is knocked out of bounds at about the 7-yard line.
Zone coverage, Greg, eyes on the quarterback. Watch Lawrence the entire way, stares it down, and this is what they work on. All eyes on the quarterback. Hargreaves, he's the underneath corner. There is nobody in the flat to capture his attention, and he just steps right in front of it and baits the rookie into another mistake. Now it's Tyrod Taylor inside the 10-yard line.
2 picks in his last 3 throws for Trevor Lawrence. Ingram. No gain as he is hit. And hit hard. AJ.
Greg, David Culley just grabbed Vernon Hargreaves by the helmet and was having a very special moment with him. You can tell this entire Texans sideline is really fired up by these defensive takeaways, a point of emphasis for Culley this entire season.
All right, AJ, thank you. We have the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play in the first half. Houston, 17-7.
We'll help you plan for it.
A really pretty day here in Houston, Texas this afternoon. And things are looking pretty good from the Houston sideline as well. 2nd and goal with 2 minutes to play.
Lady, what's that?
Play fake to David Johnson. All kinds of time for Taylor, throwing it complete, and there's a penalty marker. Pharaoh Brown, the intended receiver, double covered on the near side.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 44. Half the distance to the goal with an automatic first down.
Miles Jack with the face mask penalty.
Greg, happened real quick. Right in here. You see just that left hand gets just the slightest little hook into the grill of Pharaoh Brown. That was a good call.
Here's Ingram. To about the 3-yard line or so. Clock continues to move. Jacksonville with 1 timeout remaining. Houston with all 3 of theirs.
Yeah, and you want to be pretty patient here. Now Jacksonville gets the ball back before halftime. Now you only have 1 timeout, so there's not a lot you can do here with the clock. But David Culley, he wants to grind that thing as much as he can. Taylor probably snaps the ball at about 5 seconds, but you don't want to leave any time left on this clock before halftime.
Taylor, this side of the field, grab, penalty marker is down. It is ruled an incomplete pass out of bounds. Nico Collins, the receiver. Let's see the call. Shaquille Griffin was the defender, number 26. That's a heck of a catch.
Yeah. Out of bounds, but.
Pass interference. Offense, number 12. A 10-yard penalty. Second down.
You know, Urban Meyer might have something to say about penalties at halftime.
Well, he's pretty thankful that that one was called on Houston. But that was a lot of hand fighting. I think that one probably could have gone either way. You know, when you get in that real tight red area under 5 yards, there's a lot of hand action going on.
Second and goal.
But that's his specialty. Collins plays receiver like a basketball player.
Taylor going the other direction. That's incomplete in the end zone. Third and goal.
Well, you're going to look at this drive. You're looking at what? 3rd and about 12, 3rd and about 13. You're going to look at this drive. You had a chance inside the 5-yard line to really punch it in and really put Jacksonville in a bad place right before halftime. You had a face mask call that gave you first down, and now all of a sudden, you know, you're looking at possibly just a field goal attempt. So a blown opportunity here for Houston if they can't convert on this 3rd down and score a touchdown.
Taylor shovels to the side and tried the lateral to David Johnson, and it went out of bounds.
See it. Was he just trying to? I don't know what this was, but I don't think David Culley wants to see that.
No. Tyrod Taylor looked up and saw 4 Jaguars in front of him and said, "Here."
Well, really heads up by Johnson. If he would have, just think if he would have tipped that and batted it forward, well, that could have been disaster.
Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, and the coach. Scores and highlights coming up. Week 1 action. Verizon halftime report is next. So on 4th and goal, the field goal unit has taken the field for the Texans. David Culley's trying to figure out where he saw that in the playbook.
Probably similar to the offense they used to run when he was in college, I would imagine. Old option, single wing football, maybe? Or did Vanderbilt throw it out, air it out?
Single wing.
Isn't that what they played before 1980? Single wing?
I think it goes back a little further.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not really a football historian.
T formation. How about that?
I ran the wishbone in high school, so.
Did you?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Joey Sly from 26 yards out. And once again, Sly punches it through with no doubt whatsoever. And 59 seconds remaining in the first half. It's now 20-7. Jacksonville downstairs to AJ.
Thanks, Greg. A great start for the Texans this first half, but of course, one of the major storylines coming into this game was quarterback Deshaun Watson, who remains on the 53-man roster but is not present today and is not expected to play anytime soon. The team is still exploring potential trade options, but some very serious allegations of sexual misconduct have surfaced against Deshaun Watson that have led to 22 civil investigations as well as 10 criminal investigations, in addition to investigations by the NFL, local authorities, and the FBI, leaving his future very much in question.
Yeah, AJ, thank you. It is an unbelievable amalgam of situations for everyone concerned.
Yep.
The rampaging rumor is that Houston is trying to trade Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson has a no-trade clause in his contract. Then you'd have to wonder whether or not teams will take a chance on Deshaun Watson's future.
Well, I don't think there's any way that you take a chance without knowing exactly how this is going to play out. And, you know, for the Texans, they say, shoot, we can, you know, hang on to him. And it's going to cost us about $10–11 million and see how the legal situation plays out. But that's the priority number one with everybody involved. Until you know whether or not, you know, these allegations stick, they're true or they're not, there's really no place or nothing to do here with Deshaun Watson.
For anyone. Trevor Lawrence on first down. And just under a minute to play. Over the middle and through the hands. DJ Chark.
So here's what I'm interested to see, Greg, and I know everybody else probably is too. You had 2 interceptions in a row from Trevor Lawrence, right? So how does he react? How does he bounce back? You know, does the game start to speed up and get away from him? Or does he have the ability to kind of center everything, calm down, take a reset, and get back in the saddle? So really interested to see how he responds, not only in this drive, but to start out the third quarter.
That pass, and that's a little behind his intended receiver, O'Shaughnessy.
It just shows you the margin for error, the difference. You know I'm being Captain Obvious, but the difference between college and the NFL. You know, that first interception, that may not happen in college, but if you just make one small little mistake, NFL defenses, they're going to make you pay, right? So how does he bounce back for the rest of this game, and can he get back on track?
Jacksonville will get the ball to start the second half. On the quick slant, and that's off the hands of James Robinson. 3rd and 10. Or 4th and 10, excuse me.
How many drops have you been counting?
4.
Greg, 4 drops? And you got to give him a chance. A couple of those drops early in the game on 3rd down, and I think the one thing that you see from this offense here in the first half, if they're able to stay on schedule and do things right and not make mistakes, they can look pretty good. But far too many mistakes if you want to have a chance at winning here in the NFL.
Andre Roberts from the 23 hits for the sideline and gets out of bounds. So 37 seconds to play here in the first half, and Houston with 3 timeouts.
Certainly have a chance to get back into field goal range. 3 timeouts, 37 seconds. There's no question.
It has been a good first half for the Houston Texans. Taylor eluding the rush, throwing to the near side, and the diving catch is made by Danny Amendola.
Does he get it? Wow, what a catch. Really nicely done, but they made an adjustment at the line of scrimmage. They put Brandon Cooks on the inside at slot, and boy, it looked like he was scot-free running down the middle of the field. They might have lost an opportunity to hit one deep.
Amendola, 3 catches for 22 yards here in the first half. And take a look.
This play of completed pass is under review.
So they will. It was a nice catch, yes. They just want to know if it was a legal one or not.
I say legal. It looked like to me he got the knee is down. Question is, did he have control? When did he have control? But
elbow was down before he slid out of bounds.
I like it as a catch.
All right, we'll take a quick break. Back in 30 seconds after this.
You can finally buy that solid gold rocket ship.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Do we have a rocket ship license?
We have 6 players going, which means our probability of being passed is 92%.
$500,000? We could buy a regular rocket ship!
No more rocket ships.
Feel the NFL action like never before. Download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app and play free for millions in prizes.
Gene Steratore, you like that catch? See, Gene Steratore, are you with us?
I think that means he likes it. Yep.
All right. We will never speak for Gene. 2nd and 3. Taylor completes it to David Johnson, and he steps out of bounds, stopping the clock with 25 seconds to play.
Uh-oh. He's okay. He's okay. You still got 3 timeouts, 25 seconds left, more than enough time. Can threaten any part of the field here, inside, outside, sideline.
Elusive in the pocket, moves out, going for it all downfield. It is caught inside the 10-yard line by Brandon Cooks.
I don't even know how, first of all, how does Taylor avoid this pressure and how he sees it? That's the first part of this play. K'Lavon Chason is coming screaming across the edge. And then up here, he sees one-on-one coverage with Cooks running away from Shaquille Griffin. And he just launches it. Keeps his eyes downfield, just launches it.
We have heard all week long about people cautioning and saying that Tyrod Taylor is not Deshaun Watson, but that was very much like Deshaun Watson.
Hey, great minds think alike. That's exactly what I was going to say. That's that Deshaun Watson magic, right? Hey, feel the pressure, get out the pocket, look downfield, and let it fly. And how about Cooks? How about his combat catches in this game down the field, out-muscling Shaquille Griffin twice for the football.
52-yard play, 1st and goal inside the 10. 12 seconds on the clock. And Taylor to throw. Coming over the middle, the catch is made and the touchdown, Danny Amendola.
Here's the pick by the tight end, and it creates a wall for Amendola to come underneath. Taylor calmly stays in the pocket, sees Amendola, touchdown.
The kick is good by Joey Sly, and with 8 seconds to play in the first half. It's all Houston at this point.
Really well-designed play in the red zone and using a big target. Jordan Akins, 6'4", 243-pound tight end. He runs right at Rudy Ford. And that creates just enough distraction that he can't see Amendola coming open underneath. Really well done. How is that? For a drive right before halftime. What they have, about 37 seconds. We thought they were going to go for a field goal. But Tyrod Taylor He practicing some magic, launches it. Now all of a sudden, you have a great 20-point cushion going into halftime.
229 yards passing in the first half for him. That is the second most yardage in a first half in his career.
Boy, the way he has evaded pressure and just stayed calm, right? Not ready to just run out of there and scramble, but to keep it downfield and to trust his receiver like Cooks that he's going to come up and make the play. Incredible.
So many people have said all week long that that is one of Tyrod Taylor's great gifts, is to stay calm and to stay in charge.
Yeah, and the fact is, look, he hasn't played a lot of football here in the last 3 seasons. Let's be honest. You didn't know what kind of rust was going to be a part of his game. But you go back to the Buffalo tape, when he was on and he was at his best, he was one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL. Now in this game, it just happens to be the 50-50 ball, but boy, Brandon Cooks has rewarded the aggressive nature of Taylor in this game.
Lawrence takes a knee. Time will run out. And that's the end of a very good first half for the home-standing Houston Texans. The score, 27-7. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station.
You know how some carriers give you so little for your older busted phone you just end up living with it? I don't think so. Verizon lets you trade in your broken phone for a shiny new one. You break it, we upgrade it. You dunk it, crash it, yucks, doggy bone it, slam it, wham it, strawberry jam it. We upgrade it, every customer, current, new, or business. Up to $800 for the 5G phone you want. Because everyone deserves better. Put my phone in the wash.
And we welcome you back to NRG Stadium in Houston, where the homestanding Texans lead it at halftime by a score of 27-7. Greg Gumbel, Adam Archuleta. There's no other way to say it. Everything went very much the way of the Texans in the first half.
Boy, I think you'd have to say that, wouldn't you? Yeah. You've got to be extremely pleased if you're David Culley, especially with the offense. And Tyrod Taylor starts it off with Mark Ingram for their first touchdown, then David Johnson, and then you see a little bit of that Tyrod Taylor magic, evading the pressure and then launches a rocket 52 yards to Brandon Cooks, and then right before halftime hits Danny Amendola, crossing the formation and really put the Jaguars in a tough spot.
Jacksonville did themselves no favors whatsoever in the first half. 2 interceptions, 6 offensive penalties. They really didn't give themselves as much of a chance as they should have.
The story obviously is Trevor Lawrence and how he plays, but to me the biggest part of the Jacksonville's first half was their operation, Greg. All the penalties, 3 illegal formation, the holding calls, the drops. You can't do that regardless of who your quarterback is if you want to win in the NFL.
Kick goes into and out of the end zone, and let's go down to AJ.
Thanks, Greg. I can tell you Texans head coach David Culley was grinning ear to ear going in at the half, and he gave a lot of credit to the guys up front, giving great protection to Tyrod Taylor, who threw for 229 yards in that first half. He also gave credit to his defense with those 2 big takeaways, but he says penalties are, of course, an issue when it comes to those bigger plays on third down, and that was something echoed by Coach Urban Meyer, with the Jags racking up 7 penalties for 54 yards. He said those were self-inflicted wounds that hurt big, and he says Trevor has to calm down. Look for them to make some easy throws for Trevor starting out this second half.
Yeah, AJ, I'm betting Urban Meyer was not grinning ear to ear at halftime as the handoff goes to Carlos Hyde, and the Jaguars try to get something started here in the second half.
Well, yeah, and they've got to go with the running game. That has to be a big part of it, because right now, Lovie Smith and his defense, he's dropping his defense back. He's playing zone. And if you're Jacksonville, you've got to get him out of that. You've got to make him pay for that. And the way you do that is run the football and force them to change their defensive looks, because right now, they're reading Trevor Lawrence, and they're going to make it awfully difficult for him to find those windows.
Right now, Justin Reed is the Houston Texan down on the field. They're taking a look at him. We'll take a quick break and come right back after this.
Sarah, you said you were...
When we left you, Justin Reed was the injured Texan. He was able to walk off the field. He's been replaced by Terrence Brooks and is looking for all the world like he'll be back in there as soon as possible. 2nd and 5 for Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. This is Hyde, and Hyde going nowhere, wrapped up by Zach Cunningham, who has been a tackling machine in past years for this Houston Texans team. 163 tackles to lead the squad a year ago.
Yep, and in this defense, in this scheme, extremely linebacker friendly. And you're going to see if they play it right, these linebackers, they're going to be downhill. They're going to play fast, and they're going to get chances to make a lot of tackles around the line of scrimmage and in the backfield. So you get a different look now, trying to confuse Lawrence on the snap. Looks like man-to-man.
On 3rd and 5. Lawrence, quick pass, and that is complete to Laviska Shenault, but that is short of a first down, and that'll bring the punting unit onto the field. So the main problem, and a lot of it is stepping on their own foot, Arch, is that Jacksonville just can't get any momentum going.
No, not at all. And again, I said it right before halftime, I'm really interested to see Lawrence and how he responds here in the second half. They've got to dig themselves out of a big hole. A lot of passing situation. Let's see if the game speeds up or if he can slow it back down.
Andre Roberts dodges the first tackler and then goes down at about the 27, maybe the 28-yard line. Dakota Allen making the tackle. Hey, we ask you to help support Hurricane Ida recovery efforts in the Gulf and in the Northeast. Visit NFL.com/auction to bid on authentic and game-worn items and support the Gulf Coast Renewal Fund and American Red Cross. Text IDA to 90999 to donate $10 to American Red Cross Hurricane Ida relief. Philip Lindsay in the backfield now as Tyrod Taylor goes back to work here in the second half. This is Lindsay. To the 31, and we go down to AJ.
Well, Greg, the Saints marched into TIAA Bank Field today to take on the Green Bay Packers in Jacksonville after Hurricane Ida knocked power out to all of New Orleans, and the city is still recovering. Although the Superdome didn't sustain any significant damages, those outages made it impossible for them to host this one at home. So the Jags have been more than accommodating, and this is supposed to be temporary with the Saints on the road week 2 and week 3. They could ideally be back home week 4, guys.
All right, AJ, thank you. Your Saints went marching in, did not go unnoticed.
4-4, single. Alpha, we go.
Ingram, right side. Not a whole lot there. His progress will be marked to about the 34-yard line, and the tackle was made by Caleb Chasen. That is Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And a really nice man. Have you met him?
I've met him a couple times. Haven't had a chance to have big conversation, but I love his story. I love his background. I mean, that's, if you get a chance, that's what it's all about, living the American dream.
Yeah. 3rd and 4. Taylor throwing sideline. That is complete, and that's enough for a first down to Nico Collins, the rookie out of Michigan, 3rd-round draft pick.
You get a big target, 6'4", and this is what you want to be able to see. Does he have what it takes to beat press coverage? And he's matched up with Shaquille Griffin, who hasn't had quite the debut I think he would have liked to against this Houston football team. They've gone at him all day.
This is David Johnson, and Johnson out of bounds. Looks to be about a yard short of another first down. They'll mark him out at midfield. So it'll be 2nd and 1.
Greg, to me it looks like, you know, Jacksonville, their defense is just a step slow. You know, they've really upgraded their team speed. The secondary, they've got fast linebackers. But to me, they're not playing fast. They seem to be behind, and they really struggle in their man-to-man situations, especially when they get the formations in tight.
This is Ingram, and Ingram with a second effort still doesn't make first down yardage, just got it back to the line of scrimmage. And maybe it's that half a step slow that's giving the Texans that look of being really in rhythm at this point.
Well, and I think when you look at it inside, Malcolm Brown, they're stout. They're actually doing a pretty good job inside in the run game. But the linebackers in secondary, they haven't been on the same page and have had a ton of communication problems here.
Ingram looking for the first down, and from here he looks short. So now here comes the punting unit. I got to ask you, when you're leading 27-7 and you've got 4th and 1, would this not be a good time to take a shot for a first down and keep the pressure on?
Are you crazy?
Why?
Greg, are you crazy? Come on, man.
You
don't want, the last thing you want to do is give Jacksonville and Lawrence the ball on the 50-yard line.
Me and my vast coaching experience tells me this would be a decent shot to take.
You're a legend because you take risks. I know. But I disagree.
Jamal Agnew with a fair catch at his own 11-yard line. Trevor Lawrence will be happy to get the ball back.
La Vida Más Fina and by Buffalo Wild Wings, to the greatest of all times.
Urban Meyer brings that winning culture to Jacksonville. 3 Division I FBS national titles at the collegiate level, twice with Florida, once with Ohio State. On first down from their own 11, and Lawrence on the move. Incomplete. Coaches moving from the college level to the NFL don't automatically get a Super Bowl title. Pete Carroll did it, Jimmy Johnson did it, Barry Switzer did it. There are 8 other coaches who have not won a Super Bowl and won a national championship.
Yeah, it's different. Well, look, when Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer were coaching, football was an entirely different animal back then. You know, especially college football, how much it's changed. You know, the modern game is so different. I really respect and love Pete Carroll as a coach and love how he's handled the Seattle Seahawks.
He still you look at him and you hear him, and he still kind of has that collegiate feel about him at times.
Yeah, but boy, he understands and knows exactly what it takes at every single position group in the NFL, what winning techniques look like. And he knows how to relate to and how to get grown men who are really good at their job, how to buy into the team's culture.
Trevor Lawrence, by the way, began this game completing 9 of 15. Since then, he is 1 out of 8 for 6 yards and 2 interceptions. 3rd and 7 now, staring him in the face.
Looks like an all-out blitz, but the backers drop out.
Got rid of it. This is Robinson out of the backfield, down short of the 20-yard line, short of a first down, and here comes the punting unit.
Yeah, Lovie Smith loves to do this with his linebackers. Everybody is showing blitz and man-to-man. So Trevor Lawrence thinks this is a man look. But on the snap, they're going to all drop out and play zone. So he's got to make a quick decision, get the ball out. By that time, the rush is there. And he has to throw it and get it out of his hands, and the Texans are off the field.
Logan Cook to kick it away. Andre Roberts deep. Bounces at the 45 and takes a Jacksonville roll inside the 35-yard line to about the 32. Lovie Smith liking the way his defense is looking today. The University of Houston campus, a nearly 2-ton steel beam from one of the World Trade Center towers standing as a memorial to those who lost their lives on 9/11 20 years ago. On first down, David Johnson. And Johnson stood up at about the 37-yard line. Malcolm Brown coming out of the pack with the football. That's not going to count. 2nd and 5. Lindsay. And Lindsay has run out of bounds. What a wonderful situation for the Houston Texans and Tim Kelly, their offensive coordinator. If you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, you think they're going to try to run out the clock, and he can pick and choose on how he wants to throw the ball.
Well, yeah, but you would love, you know, you don't want to get stagnant here. You still got 7 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter. And so I don't know, of course you don't want to be, you know, super aggressive and make some big mistakes and give Jacksonville a chance to get back in the game, but you know, I think
like going for it on 4th and 1.
Yes. Yes,
I got you. Here's 3rd and 2. And Tyrod Taylor didn't like what he saw and called timeout. His play clock was winding down.
You know, it's amazing though, Greg, when you go back and look at that first half, Houston scored 27 points. Would you believe it if I told you that was the first time in the first half they've scored 27 points or more in the last 4 seasons in the first half? Can you believe that? Think about that.
Well, it's borders on being unbelievable simply because Deshaun Watson was at the helm.
That's my point. Yeah. But I know that right now Texan fans, they're not in agreement because all those slow starts, I mean, it was painful to watch. They would always have to try and turn it on in the 4th quarter. One of the worst starting football teams that I've seen in recent memory. But who would have thought coming into this game, you know, with all the different roster transactions, all the different people that are coming in, putting all this together, no Deshaun Watson, no Will Fuller, and here you are, 27 points here in the first half. Pretty well done.
3rd and 2 with David Johnson in the backfield. Johnson with the handoff. Let's see where they mark his forward progress. He appears to have enough for the first down to about the 43-yard line. And it is.
Yep. Well, I'm all for grinding it out and running out the clock, but I would love to see them open it up a little bit more here. I think now that they got that first down, expect them to maybe get Taylor outside the pocket and throw the ball downfield a bit.
Taylor throwing, and it is Pharaoh Brown with the catch, and time for another update from New York. Let's take you back to JB and Boomer.
Hey, Greg, Kenny G at running back.
Well, it's not that Kenny G. It's Kenneth Gainwell. How about the Eagles right now, 22-6 over the Atlanta Falcons? Gainwell takes it in. Jalen Hurts, 22 of 29, 205 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not bad for the young quarterback out of Alabama.
Hey, well, here's a well-known name. Back to Greg G.
Yes.
Kenny G. Here's a burst up the middle by Ingram. Mark Ingram with a first down to the Jacksonville 43-yard line. Brought down by Rayshawn Jenkins. That's an 11-yard pickup.
You get a chance to make the tackle in the hole. This is one-on-one football. You got to make it. I know that's a tough tackle for the safety Wingard, but he takes a bad angle, and Ingram makes him miss in the hole. Look how he finishes.
Ingram, 15 carries, 48 yards. Ingram again. There aren't many running backs that get to their 11th year of a career running the football in this league. He's doing a great job.
Not at all. You know, I was coming into this game, we knew that he was going to be the lead back. But right now he's got 15 carries, and I didn't quite expect him to carry this much of the load, but hey, he's got a lot of juice left in that body.
Ingram again. As we hit the 4.5-minute mark to go here in the 3rd quarter. And Ingram comes to the sideline now for a breather. Houston with 98 rushing yards on the day. Last year, they averaged about 91.5.
You got to be heads up if you're Jacksonville for some sort of a pass or a bootleg coming behind the line of scrimmage, or Taylor coming out of the backfield here.
Blue 80. Listen.
Under pressure, got rid of it. Caught! Pharaoh Brown, what a catch down the middle of the field. It'll be 1st and goal. We have a penalty marker down. What a catch by Brown. What a throw. What a throw by Tyrod Taylor.
Holy man.
Excuse me, no penalty marker, 29-yard pickup. Ingram giving the ball, touchdown, Philip Lindsay.
What a day for Tyrod Taylor. What a grab. Pharaoh Brown, first-time starter in his career, 6'6", on 3rd and 1. Taylor under pressure, and then Philip Lindsay caps it off.
Wow. Sly's extra point is perfect. 3:24 to play in the 3rd. It's a Houston Texans runaway. 34-7.
Thursday Night Football, Thursday at 8, only on NFL Network.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Progressive. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. And by Consumer Cellular.
Here at NRG Stadium, the fans, they probably came in hoping for the best. Don't know if they expected this, but they're pleasantly surprised, I guess. 34-7.
You never know, right? That's what the offseason, you never know until you get out there and you play on opening week.
Touchback means they'll start from the 25. And remind you, Saturday at 3:30 Eastern Time, the SEC on CBS features a marquee matchup in the Swamp. Number 1 Alabama, number 13 Florida. We get you set for kickoff beginning at 2:30 with the drive to Atlanta, followed by college football today. It's all coming up Saturday here on CBS. So Urban Meyer trying to figure out what buttons he can push. The last 5 drives the Jaguars have had a total of 12 yards, no first downs, 1 interception.
Yeah, ugly football. And again, it's going to get real tough now because you're in essence going to turn into a one-dimensional offense here for the rest of the game.
Had to get rid of it in a hurry and still completed that to O'Shaughnessy. Was Charles O'Menahue making his presence felt and introducing himself to Trevor Lawrence.
So now you notice here in the second half, the Texans defense up front, they've been able to turn it up a notch because the secondary, Jacksonville hasn't been able to get them out of their zone. The secondary is getting to their drops. Their eyes are on the football. And now up front, they're unleashing all their games and just getting after the passer.
2nd and 13, that pass is complete. And that's O'Shaughnessy once again. Time for another update. Let's see if we get any musical references this time from JB and Boomer.
I'll keep it straight. 13 unanswered for Pittsburgh.
Watch this catch by Deontay Johnson. Levi Wallace for the Bills is right there. He comes down with a 5-yard touchdown pass. 13 straight points scored by Pittsburgh. They lead 13-10 over the Bills.
Back to Greg Gumbel.
All right, guys, thank you. And that pass is completed to James Robinson. And we have a penalty marker in the backfield. Here's Land Clark.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 97. A 15-yard penalty will be added at the end of the play with an automatic first down.
And that's Malik Collins with this hit on Lawrence.
I don't know, Greg. Tough one.
Really? You didn't think
so?
You defensive guys are all alike. What's wrong with that?
When you're in the pit within one step, I think it's tough. I mean, look, I get it. So you're going to lose most of those calls if you're a defensive lineman, but it is tough.
Green 80. Meanwhile, a first down. Green inside. From the 41. Lawrence with time, throwing deep, has a man, and he's got a touchdown. DJ Chark on the receiving end, 41 yards.
Boy, look at the action. As Lawrence comes out, watch the safety start to drift with him, and then he just launches a rocket. Beautiful pass. The safety, he can't recover in time and just gets it to drop into Chark's hands. Boy, that's how you execute the play action.
His longest connection of the day. Lambeau's extra point attempt is good. 1:48 to play in the third. And Jacksonville makes it 14 on the board for the Jaguars.
Really nice job by Lawrence getting the safety. I believe that was Justin Reed. He flows over to the left, and then he just can't get over in time. Beautiful pass. And Chark hasn't had the cleanest day at the office today. But boy, when they needed him right there, what a drive. 4 plays, 75 yards. That's exactly what Urban Meyer's looking for.
In only a minute 36. Second touchdown pass of the day for Trevor Lawrence, his longest completion of the day at 41.
Well, he can throw every ball. I know he's been broken down ad nauseum. I'm not adding any new insight to the equation here. The boy, he is talented. Forget your first to anything.
2 yards deep in the end zone, Andre Roberts. Hit it about the 24 to about the 22. Let's talk about your first career game.
Yeah,
NFL
buddy.
game with the St. Louis Rams against the Philadelphia Eagles, week 1 of the 2001 season. Adam Archuleta recovering a fumble, and then fumbled the football on the return.
Hey, you're not supposed to say that.
Okay, we'll just watch. There we go.
Hey, my knee was down.
That's right.
Okay.
You helped the Rams.
Oh, there you go.
20-17 win in overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Well, you know how to make people feel good about themselves. Did anybody ever tell you have a way with that?
Yeah. I take extra classes. This is Mark Ingram. Ingram continuing to be the workhorse.
I can't believe that was 20 years ago. 20 years.
You just wait till you get a little older, time really begins to fly.
Is that how it goes?
and your memory isn't as sharp. 2nd and 8. And Ingram once again. And we are under minutes to play here in the third. Mark Ingram now with 19 carries for 63 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, I think Houston, they just went over the 100-yard mark here. You know, the running game, probably for good reason, has been an afterthought here in Houston. There's no doubt that it's going to be a centerpiece, but maybe not if Taylor plays the way he plays today all year.
Tyrod Taylor throws, and that pass is incomplete. Brandon Cooks, who's had a pretty good day himself, couldn't come up with that catch. It's 4th down, and here comes the punting unit.
You know, I love fun facts. I love trivia, Greg. You know, I gave you that little nugget about the Texans and their first half points in the last 4 years. You know, That's Brandon Cooks. That's his best first half of his entire career. His best. Pretty good.
Not bad. Jamal Agnew deep. Line drive kick. Drifts back to his 20, circles around, looking for blocking. Not getting there. He's buried. His forward progress is going to be marked at about the 21-yard line. Down to AJ.
Well, Greg, Texans coach David Culley says he couldn't have walked into a better situation with Lovie Smith and Romeo Crennel by his side. Culley says he almost worked for Lovie before when he had an offensive coordinator position open in Chicago, and he's known him since high school. And of course, Romeo has had a long tenured career in this league, and they both have great knowledge and experience. So they've just been a great support to Culley as he tries to redefine the identity of this Texans team. And if you want to call it the Lovie effect, I know that's something you can personally attest to, Arch, playing for him in St. Louis and Chicago.
Lawrence with time, throwing down the sideline and overthrows DJ Chark. Yeah, you've got a special place in your heart for Lovie Smith, don't you?
Oh, you know what I do. You know, I would say that he's been the most impactful person for me professionally that I've ever come in contact with. I had a great relationship with him. I still have a great relationship, and things are a little different now. He's not a head coach. He's back, and he's hands-on as the defensive coordinator. That man knows a lot of football, and he sure knows how to get players to play at their best.
Second and 10. Lawrence over the middle, and that's complete. And, you know, AJ mentioned Romeo Crennel. I do not know of a single person on the planet who dislikes Romeo Crennel.
It's hard.
End of 3 here in Houston. The Texans on a roll. They lead it. We're coming back for the fourth after this.
When you order Domino's delivery online, you might get a surprise free, like pizza.
Along with our producer, Jonathan Siegel, our director, Mark Grant, Greg Gumbel, Adam Archuleta, AJ Ross as we start the fourth quarter. 34-14 Houston with the lead. And a 3rd and 3 for Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. Got rid of it, throwing too high, incomplete, intended for Chark.
The same look. You see Lovie Smith right there, smiling, pleased with the way his defense is playing, but it's the same look. That is so hard on an offense when you put your linebackers up there, and it just makes you get confused with the protection and not knowing exactly what the coverage is going to be. It made Lawrence hold the ball, and it's just not enough window to throw it in.
Andre Roberts makes the fair catch. Meanwhile, we talked about, you know, here's the thing about this Houston team. You know, everybody said, well, how is Tyrod Taylor going to do replacing Deshaun Watson? But Tyrod can throw the ball. It was that running game that everybody wants to know about.
And they've kept 5 running backs on the roster, and 4 of them are active today. But here it is. Each of them brings something extremely unique and something that you really have to think about as a defensive coordinator. So we knew the offense was going to be built around the running game and the running backs. And again, if Taylor, he does this every week, then I think Texan fans are going to be pretty happy.
Ingram once again in the backfield. Fake to him. Taylor throws incomplete. Pharaoh Brown. And here's a late flag being thrown from the near side. And it's going to go against Jacksonville.
Pass interference. Defense number 26. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. An automatic first down.
That's Shaquille Griffin. Boy, Jacksonville has done itself no favors with the penalties they've committed today.
No, sloppy football. And Griffin, one of the main acquisitions coming over from Seattle, has had a tough day at the office. You see a slight little jersey pull right there on the outside.
Hey, Mike is 5'4", blue lady. Where's it?
Ingram, right side, running room, across midfield and down and out of bounds at about the 47. Last season, Jacksonville over 6.5 penalties a game on the average. They've committed 8 today.
Yeah, one more time, the tight ends, again, huge part of the running game. And if you want to run the ball and be effective at it and be a dominant running offense, you can't do it without some blocking tight ends. We've seen that over and over again today from this group.
Hey, no. 54 is the money. 44 is the money. Blue 80. What's that?
2nd and 1. This is Lindsey. Lindsey loses yardage. Back to the 49-yard line. Miles Jack.
Greg, that's one of the first times today I've heard you say losing yardage when talking about the Houston offense. And to me, we haven't talked enough about the Jacksonville defense, stepping up and making individual plays, right? Creating those negative plays. Here we are in the 4th quarter, and that's really the first time I've seen anybody in the Houston Texans offensive backfield.
Yeah, you're saying we haven't talked about it because it hasn't happened.
Exactly.
3rd and 5 now. Taylor gonna run for it, gonna get it, and more. 35, 30, and out of bounds, short of the 20-yard line. We have a penalty marker down. See if this is on Rayshon Jenkins.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, defense number 2. After the goal, 1st down.
Kind of a late push more than a late hit.
He gave him the extra shove. Yeah. But listen, Jacksonville's going to crash, and that means there's nobody outside to keep contained. I think today that Taylor has done a marvelous job of feeling the rush and understanding where to escape. We've seen him keep the eyes down the field and launch it. That time he sees the open lane, makes the rookie miss, and all of a sudden he's racing to the sideline.
Here's Ingram, and Ingram pushing his way to about the 6.5-yard line. And once again, Houston knocking on the door.
You got to be pleased if you're David Culley and the way this offense came out prepared to play this game. It's kind of a blend of what they did in Baltimore last season and also what Tim Kelly, the offensive coordinator, what he kind of did last year. So they tried to blend this thing together. Who knew how it was going to turn out, but you've got to be extremely pleased. They look sharp. Their level of execution for game 1 of the season with all these new pieces is really high.
Taylor looking, end zone, out of bounds, incomplete. Nico Collins, the intended receiver. It'll be 3rd and 6. These Texans travel to Cleveland next week, and so do we.
See a little bit about the Cleveland run game. Boy, I love me some Nick Chubb. I love watching that guy run.
There's a lot to like about that Cleveland team. 3rd and 6 now. Taylor under pressure, throwing incomplete. At the goal line, Jordan Akins, nearest one to it, and here comes the field goal unit. Well, at a position where if your regular starter is injured, you're kind of hoping for the best, and that is place kicker. But Joey Sly has done pretty well today.
Yeah, I would say so. I think you'd have to be pretty happy with his performance. The special teams here has gotten a huge upgrade from where they were last season. They feel really good about where that unit is.
He's been good from 40 and good from 26. This one from 25 yards out. And good. 11:56 on the clock. Trevor Lawrence looking up at the scoreboard, not liking what he sees. Little oxygen for Mark Ingram. 21 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown today. Anchoring the ground game.
Pretty good day at work, wouldn't you say?
Let's just say he'll sleep well tonight.
Yeah, Texans, they're at 147 yards rushing. I think David Culley will take that in a heartbeat.
Joey Sly doing what he does best. It's another touchback. Well, Trevor Lawrence losing not a very commonplace thing for him.
Not at all. He's virtually been the best ever since he stepped on the field, and that's just those 4 losses. Those are in playoffs or championship games. His regular season record, he's 68-0. So he knows nothing about losing whatsoever. Now, of course, you know, this is the NFL, so what's going to happen? And he's going to take his lumps. Got tremendous upside, but I'm sure you can relate to having a great record like that, Greg.
I can relate to
you don't look
taking
like
my lumps.
I don't think you're used to losing either, are you?
First down, Lawrence. And this is O'Shaughnessy. So Lawrence has had some moments. There's one of them.
He's had some great moments, and then he's had some mistakes that are to be expected. This one tries to thread it in between zone coverage, but then I love how he bounced back later on. A couple drives later, throws a beauty for Chark.
On 2nd and 1, he'll get the first down here. This is O'Shaughnessy once again.
But it's gonna be a journey, you know. I keep going back to it, Greg. We've spoke about, you know, Josh Allen to me is the guy that just jumps out. A guy that his rookie season was as rough as anybody I can remember. And even his second season left you with serious questions on whether or not he could be the guy. And then all of a sudden last year, bam, right? So it's really tough to tell even after a whole year and a body of work.
That is Vincent Taylor, number 96 for Houston, the 5th-year D lineman out of Oklahoma State. And he appears to be in some pain. So this always brings me back to, you look at a 37-14, you'd consider that a comfortable lead. The question is, when does a coach begin to rotate his players more than he usually does? We'll talk about that.
With FanDuel Fantasy, you can make your dream more.
And by McDonald's.
Welcome back to Houston, everyone. Vincent Taylor was carted off the field. And if we get any word on him, we will certainly pass it on to you. Roy Lopez has replaced him on the defensive line for the Texans. 1st and 10 for Jacksonville. Lawrence throwing sideline incomplete. 2nd and 10. Lawrence with time incomplete. And that one intended for James Robinson out of the backfield.
You can see that just, you use the phrase being on the same page and the communication and just, you know, feeling whether or not the receiver is going inside or if you're going to throw it to the backside. It's happened a few times with his receivers and also with Robinson. They just need a lot more work and more practice, but they haven't been in sync in the passing game today.
Lawrence throws and right through the hands of James Robinson. And the punting unit once again. We were talking with Urban Meyer about James Robinson. I asked him, how does a guy with as much talent as he showed in his first year last year get through a whole draft without being picked? And he said, the draft, how about scouting?
Yep. Well, you know what it is? It really comes down to height and 40-yard dash. He's 5'9", and he runs like a 4.6, 4.65 40. And so, how about this?
Yeah, going for it on 4th and 10, and now a couple of late Texans onto the field, and it looks like they're going to call timeout.
I know you're in the position of nothing to lose, right, at this point. But boy, 4th and 10, when you've really struggled to move the football, your chances of picking this up. I know you're just kind of waving the white towel if you punt it away, but.
Well, at the same time, though, doesn't it give you as a head coach a chance to see what you got, what your guys are made of? How you go after it?
Your 4th and 10 playbook?
Yeah. Oh, there's such a thing.
Yeah, there is.
It's the 4th and 30s that are few and far between. Texans fans increase the noise level. Imagine you're going to get a secondary that's pretty spread out for Houston.
Yep. Get those linebackers deep. See if Lovie Smith puts his linebackers at the line of scrimmage again. Get Lawrence to try and hold the ball account.
Lawrence stepping up, throwing, hit his man. Across midfield to the 46-yard line. That's Laviska Shenault for a first down. There's the 4th and 10 playbook.
There's the 4th and 10 play. Boy, this is a really nice rep. Lawrence, there was a lot of heat in that pocket. It was closing in on him, and he just stepped up and hit a tight window to Shenault to pick it up.
Lawrence with the flip to Robinson, holds on to this one and looking for another first down. Lost the football and it rolls out of bounds. That was Terrence Mitchell with the hit right there that forced the fumble.
And that's got to be, he's had a couple drops already today. And then that one going out of bounds. Just an overall sloppy performance from this offense.
1 second and 1. That pass is intercepted right in the middle of the field by Christian Kirksey. 3rd pick of the day thrown by the rookie quarterback for Jacksonville.
This one talked about not being on the same page. I think he's trying to hit Shenault, who's way over here. But Trevor Lawrence throws it right to the Texans. I have no clue whatsoever. And it looked like he threw it, and he ripped it pretty confidently, but that one wasn't even in the same zip code. You know, Lovie Smith, they say that his scheme is simple, right? That it doesn't have a lot of volume. But boy, the way they train their linebackers and their DBs to read the quarterback, as good as anyone in football.
That's Philip Lindsay to the far side of the field. This is amazing. Given the fact that it's all rookie at quarterback, the fact is this Houston team had 3 interceptions all of last season.
Sure.
And they've got 3 today.
Yeah, and let's be honest. They're not facing, you know, a juggernaut of an offense. And you know that, look, Lawrence in his first game, he's going to make some mistakes, right? So it's not going to always be like this. But you play who you play, right? And the fact that they've been able to get their hands on the football is a really good sign.
Pass to the far side, that's Brandon Cooks, and Cooks across the 30 and about a yard short of a first down.
See, that's what having
here's a late flag and a little tussle. That's the center, Justin Britt, and now things are getting a little chippy. It's the first time in the 2 days that we've talked to David Culley that haven't seen him smile. The officials talk this over and find out who's guilty of what.
Oh, yeah. Robertson Harris comes in with a little headbutt. Just tells me he doesn't like money. You know what I mean? I mean, that headbutt's not worth $10,000, $15,000 fine, is it?
Does that get you a FedEx delivery?
I mean, come on.
Cooks with the catch. And the center,
Yep.
Justin Britt there on the outside.
Britt and Rayshon Jenkins.
So here comes the decision.
There are multiple fouls on the play, after the play. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Offense number 68. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 95. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 44. Those all offset. Third down.
By the way, do you like the whole idea with the numbers thing, that anybody can wear any number they want?
I don't.
I don't either.
I'm old-fashioned, you know. Are you old-fashioned?
In many ways.
Yeah, you strike me as old-fashioned,
Yeah.
too. Something about a defensive lineman wearing a single digit.
Yeah, that number 6 is Jihad Ward, linebacker.
That just tells me that he always wanted to play tight end or receiver, and he was always the biggest kid, and they stuck him on the line.
3rd and 1. The give is to Ingram, and Ingram looks like he's right at that first down marker. Let's see how far they give him. And they're going to bring out the punting unit. Even though they only have this far to go, Arch.
Yeah, well, you got to go into that Greg Gumbel aggressive. You must like to play Madden and go for it every time, right?
I don't play video games.
No?
No. But, as I told you before, I think if you can't make a yard when you don't need it, you don't deserve to win the game.
That's true.
Jamal Agnew, fair catch called for and made inside his own 25-yard line. 7:41 to play here in the 4th. Coming up next, game 2 of our NFL on CBS doubleheader. Most of you will see Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns battle Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Others will watch the Miami Dolphins renew their AFC East rivalry with the New England Patriots. More of the NFL on CBS coming up next. As I mentioned earlier, Arch, will see those Cleveland Browns next week as they host these Houston Texans.
Looks like the Jets, they're behind against Carolina. So Trey Lance gets his 1 attempt. Nice day at the office, and really interested to see what Mac Jones brings to the table in his first start.
Yeah. This is Carlos Hyde, and Carlos Hyde about a yard short of first down as he reaches the 33.
You know, against this style of defense, you have got to have a good running game, because you've got to give the linebackers something to think about. If you let them just drop in pass coverage and set their feet on the quarterback and read the quarterback's eyes, you don't have a chance. And the fact that Jacksonville hasn't been able to really threaten them in the run game is one of the reasons why the windows against that zone coverage has been so tight for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, no reason for the defense to fear a running game that isn't there, hasn't proven itself. 6:50 to play in the 4th. Lawrence stepping up, waiting, got his arm hit as he released the ball, and that is incomplete. Watch Malik Collins, number 97.
You know, that's a guy, he plays what they call the 3 technique. He plays on the outside shoulder of the guard. And in this defense, you know, that's the Warren Sapp, right? He has to be disruptive. He has to be a force. And he's got the athletic ability and the movement skills to be that in this defense. Now, he didn't have a great year last year, but Lovie Smith thinks that he has what it takes.
Lawrence dragged down from behind by Whitney Merciless.
This look still giving Jacksonville a lot of problems, creating one-on-one matchups. You just see Merciless. He just keeps fighting the hands of Cam Robinson, turns the corner, and then just hits the acceleration to get to Lawrence. But that's a look time and time again in this game with the backers up in the line that has really given this Jacksonville offense something to think about.
3rd and 23. Completed on the outside to Carlos Hyde for not very much, certainly not nearly enough. And Terrence Mitchell with the tackle. Here comes the punting team. I'm going to wager Lovie Smith did not have that beard when you played for him.
No, he was clean cut. You know, he was a young buck back then, really. 20 years. Hey, 5 years in college football, they'll make you grow a beard now.
And it'll come out gray.
Yes.
Andre Roberts. And Roberts hit hard at the 20-yard line and goes down. Chappelle Russell. What is that? Well, no, you said clean cut, but, you know, that's pretty well kept.
No, that's well kept. But like that's spending time on the road recruiting, and you're like, man, I'm just going to grow a beard. I can't deal with this.
Boy, what a history he has to him, huh?
Man knows how to coach in football.
So here's Mark Ingram back in the backfield. And back at it off the left side with a little running room. So Tyrod Taylor, he's looked pretty good so far.
Oh, not a bad day at the office. 19 for 31, 281 yards. His awareness has really been the thing that stood out to me in this game. The way he's navigated the pocket, the way he's felt the rush, the way he's kept his eyes down the field, and then showing that, you know what, I've been in this league a long time, but I still have the juice in my legs to make you respect my game on the ground. What a game and what a week one for Tyrod Taylor.
And look, we can almost guarantee there are a fair number of Houston Texans fans who basically went, what are we going to do without Deshaun Watson in the lineup?
Yeah, didn't you? I mean, let's be honest. Deshaun Watson, top 5 quarterback.
Oh, easily.
Right? And so that's the guy you think is going to be here for 10, 15 years.
So many times last season, I watched Deshaun Watson have his team in the game. And in a game they had no business being into. It was just simply on the basis of his talent.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, you know, you're going to be disappointed because of everything that's happened with Deshaun Watson, right? And coming into this season, you know, everybody's always optimistic in the offseason about what you have in front of you. There wasn't a lot of optimism outside the building here looking at the Texans football team. I think they're not favored in every single game. They're an underdog in every single game.
They were not favored here today.
Exactly. And so the expectations, super low. And again, it's going to be a tough year. It's going to be an up and down season. But again, you got to love how they came out ready to play.
3rd and 4. Burkhead inside the 30 and has enough for a first down. One more thing about Deshaun Watson. In almost any difference of opinion, you can kind of forecast what might happen down the road. I don't think you can do that in this situation with Deshaun Watson and with the Houston Texans. Nobody really knows how this is going to go.
No, I mean it's in a whole different world when you talk about the legal stuff. You know, it'd be pretty irresponsible to try and prognosticate what's going to happen, right? So, you know, obviously if he's found guilty, then it's a moot point, right? We know what's going to happen. If he's innocent and he's cleared of all charges, well, that's when things start to get real interesting.
Here's Ingram. Jacksonville defense slams that side of the field shut. 3:45 to play here in the fourth.
But the fact that this has been an offseason story, whether it's demanding a trade or whether it's the legal stuff that has popped up, the Texans have pretty much planned on Taylor and moving on from Deshaun Watson. So it's not as if this is something that just happened in the summer or during training camp. You know, Tyrod Taylor has pretty much known the entire offseason that he was in fact going to be the guy and practiced with his teammates as the guy.
And therein lies the advantage for the Texans. To this point anyway. Ingram on the right side to about the 35-yard line. And Jacksonville calls a timeout. And the clock is stopped with 3:04 to play. Not the storybook beginning that Jacksonville fans had hoped for. But the upside is huge.
Did you think it was going to be a storybook beginning?
I think it's hard to tell because no matter how talented a quarterback can be, a lot depends on, like we talked about all day long, the running game. A lot depends on how well that offensive line is going to protect them. A lot depends on the receivers, whether they hold the passes or drop them.
That's a good point. If I was disappointed in one thing, well, two things today, it'd be the operation and the mistakes and just the silly illegal procedure, illegal formation penalties. And I'm disappointed in the way the defense came out to play. I really thought we'd see a fast, aggressive, pressure the quarterback defense, but I feel like they've been a step behind all game.
This is Amendola. And Danny Amendola has had himself a heck of a debut day for the Houston Texans.
Yeah, that's what happens when you play, you know, in your hometown. How about that?
Welcome home, Danny.
Yes, sir.
5 catches, 34 yards, and a touchdown. So on 4th and 3, Jacksonville uses its 3rd and final timeout. And there's some value in bringing in a guy who has been a winner in the past and knows how to go about winning football games.
Speaking about Amendola, absolutely. Well, they needed a slot receiver. You know, they got rid of Kiki QT in the here in training camp and in the preseason. Anthony Miller is really the only other true slot receiver. So they really needed somebody with some experience that they could plug in there and that could be a reliable target for Tyrod Taylor.
Cameron Johnston to kick it away. Agnew watches this one float out of bounds somewhere near the 10 or 15-yard line. He's going to be marked out at the 15. So Lawrence on the day, 21 of 41 for 248 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yep, and I guarantee you, at least I would hope that coming into this game, Urban Meyer doesn't want to see 41 passing attempts in game 1, right? You've got to have balance. You know, it kind of reminds me of Joe Burrow last year for Cincinnati. They couldn't run the football, right?
Yep.
Well, he took a lot of hits and he didn't finish the season, but they've got to find a way to have balance, not have so many negative plays, but they've got to help Lawrence out.
And as you said, it'll be interesting to see how he reacts to this, how he comes out of this. Because there might be a fair number of guys out there go, okay, be careful. You don't want to make him angry. 2.5 to play. 2nd and 10. Got his man across the 30 and out of bounds at about the 34-yard line. DJ Chark. Jaguars will go home and prepare to host the Denver Broncos next week. Arizona the week after that before traveling to Cincinnati. And this Jacksonville team, by the way, just remember this. They won their season opener last year. They beat the Indianapolis Colts and then lost their last 15.
Yeah, I was on that game and really kind of shocked the Colts because the Colts were one of the favorites, right, in the AFC to start the season. But
this is Chenault. And the Texans defense stands him up. And that may be the last play prior to the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they get the snap off in time. They did not. 2 minutes to play. Houston 37, Jacksonville 14. Back to Houston in a moment.
Is sponsored by Verizon. 5G built right. And by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
At Houston. We've got technical difficulties. Jacksonville at Houston. Houston on top 37-14. 2 minutes left in regulation is what we see there. Boomer, talk about that matchup.
You know, at the bottom line, at the end of the day, it's all about Trevor Lawrence and his continued growth. He's thrown 3 interceptions today. Right now, they're just trying to end the game here. You don't want any injuries for sure. You think about Trevor, he was 25 of 46 for 288 yards, 2 touchdown passes that were really good throws, but 3 bad interceptions.
Yeah, for sure. And some would say at this point in the game, you know, take the young man out. But I like this. Take your lumps, learn how to finish the game out. Let's try to get in the end zone. And if you can end on a touchdown, as you see him thrown over the middle of the field, where he struggled to make some plays during the game, is right in between those numbers, Coach. The coverages that NFL defenses can mix up that can confuse young rookies like we saw up against Trevor.
And it's a growing experience. You know what it's like, Nathan, in this game, because it's the speed of the game, it's regular season. And really, the impressive thing to me was Tyrod Taylor. He came in with that Houston team, and David Culley. They played a lot of guys in the preseason. They came in ready to play this game, and they clearly had the more experience, and they played the more efficient game for them.
Yeah, Lovie Smith did some nice things against Trevor Lawrence. You know, Lovie's been around a long time.
A little bit.
You can tell by that beard.
Well, that beard, too, yes. But, you know, Trevor Lawrence, you learn from what he's doing, learning if you look how the defense follows you. But, you know, I'm happy for Tyrod Taylor. When's the last time he played, it's been a long time, where he didn't have to look over his shoulder because there's somebody behind him. So he did a great job today, and really a big win for the Houston Texans.
And again, as we said, we've lost all power. The time that you may see there, 2 minutes left, it is actually about 24 seconds remaining in that contest.
And you can see these last 2 plays, and this is right before the flag was thrown. Houston is not sitting back. They're blitzing. Lovie Smith is blitzing Trevor Lawrence. So as Nate was just pointing out, it is a very good learning experience for the young quarterback. You want to finish the game. And, you know, Lovie is just not sitting back there letting him pick his defense apart.
Yeah, for sure. As we are looking at this game, Houston is up 37-14. And, guys, we have to talk about this offseason for the Houston Texans. There's a lot going on. Now, think about it. With all the the media coverage surrounding Deshaun Watson and what's going on, players being shipped off to different places. Coach, this team could have easily packed it in. This coaching staff could have said, you know what, it's just not our year.
Yeah,
but they showed up ready to rock and roll today.
And you're seeing Trevor Lawrence make some really good throws right here, utilizing the sideline, and also getting a feel for the game clock and managing a 2-minute situation, something he really never had experience doing at Clemson. They never came down to games being
That's right.
So, I mean, even for Urban Meyer. But you're right, when you're talking about the Houston Texans, I mean, the one thing I'll say, you know what, Nate? Low expectation. At the same time, they're coming in under the radar. They're going to pass incomplete in the end zone there for Trevor, trying to get that last-minute touchdown and finish the game on a positive note.
Hey, you know, this time of the game, take no chances if you're a quarterback, Boomer, right? Don't throw, don't be.
What do you mean by that?
You're not going to win the game, so don't try to be a hero, make that throw and get another interception. Just looks.
Are you talking about messing up your stat line?
I'm absolutely saying that. It's real. Because people like us sit around and judge the numbers.
You're right. You're right.
What's that?
13 seconds remaining. Bill, let me go back to your point again. And Nate talked about all that Houston had to deal with in this offseason. But you've got a veteran, a coaching staff that brings a lot of veteran experience to the table.
Look at that throw. Staff, there's a touchdown right there, the throw from Trevor Lawrence. He completes it in the end zone. And who's that?
Marvin Jones, I believe that
Marvin
is.
Jones. So, listen, it's a positive you take out of it. He took him down there in a 1-minute situation. It's something to build on. But, again, I go back, JB, you're right. There's a lot of veterans in that locker room. They hear the noise on the outside is not the same on the inside. It's us against the world. Nobody's giving us a chance. Very impressive showing right there today by the Houston Texans.
Okay, well, Bill, I can't believe you didn't bring up Mark Ingram, that he ran for 85 yards today, and Houston ran the football. And but no, really good job by Mark Ingram. New start down there, you know, leaving Baltimore. Good for him. Tyrod Taylor, good game. So a lot of positives for the Houston Texans.
5 seconds remaining. If what we are seeing is accurate right now, the field, the point after is good. 37-21. So, Coach, looking on the other side of the ledger from Jacksonville, are there some points that they can build on if the coaching staff does that right to get that confidence?
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing like game experience and game tape to look at, and you're going to learn from it, learn to make adjustments. Again, what is the identity of the Jacksonville Jaguars? That's something I always think the first 4 to 5 weeks you have to find out as a coach. A lot of times for Urban, when he went into it, he knew what he had before the season started. Right now in the National Football League, you got to find out who you are, and you gauge that by your opponents that you're playing and how you play on game day.
And Trevor Lawrence made some good throws today.
There's a lot of positives. 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Even that last one, as we were watching this together on the set, you know, Boom whispers, look at that throw. And it was a beautiful throw to Marvin Jones, and he had a few of those passes today. And we know he's talented. Let's just call it what it is. The Jags have a lot of pieces that they need to add in order for this team to be a true competitor.
You have to develop a winning culture, and that's going to take time when you're coming off a 1-15 team.
So when this game is over, we're going to take you again. Big doubleheader day coming up here on CBS. Kansas City at Cleveland, Miami at New England.
And just remember the way that Baker Mayfield started, Josh Allen started, Sam Darnold started. It just takes time. But I will say, one thing about Trevor Lawrence, he has the physical presence on the field that you can see.
He's a leader.
He's going to be a really, really good player, if not a great player. But he's just got to get the right players around him. He's got to get comfortable. And he's going to see things now over the next 5 or 6 weeks that he's never seen before. And it's over, and that's going to be a huge win for David Culley, his first win as the head coach of the Houston Texans.
So that wraps it up. Coming up on the other side of the commercial, we will take you to Kansas City at Cleveland. Coming your way next here on CBS.
Introducing new Hardy Inspiration.